Time now for the Nick Hart Show, our weekly chat with the head coach of the Gibson Southern Titans, Nick Hart. The show is presented by the Gibson Southern Football Boosters and brought to you by A&B Contracting, LLC, AgriGold, Best One Tire, Chips, SellMyTees.com, Cox Family Eye Care PC, Daylight Land Management, Du Bois County Garage Doors Incorporated, Duke Energy, Elite Insulation, Emerson Cattle Company, Fort Branch Dairy Queen, Foster Construction, Gerald and Trudy Bledsoe, Snap-on Tools, Grant Rydens, Hilliard Lyons, Ignite Heating and Air, in loving memory of Zach Bailey, in memory of Darwin and Eric Callis, Julia's School of Dance, Kissel Farms Incorporated, Eleanor Off-Road of Owensville, MyTech Systems, Pegram Concrete LLC, Princeton Auto Park, Pro Rehab, Progressive Health Rehabilitation and Orthopedic Associates, Reinbrecht Homes, Right to Bear Arms, Rogers Bit Service LLC, Sandy's Pizza, Scotty's Lawn Equipment, South Gibson Grain, Sin Energy Partners LLC, Trapping and Removal of Animal Pest, 10 Barge Seed, TYFL, Vertical Tile Incorporated, Hobb Range Hood Company, Ziliac Enterprises, Beatles Towing, First Bank of Princeton, Johnson Commercial Mowing, Make Your Mark, Mayflower Gardens and Gifts, Martin's Auto Service, Kathy Solman Photography, Scheller's Carriage Inn, United Fidelity Bank, and by Wabash Valley College. The Nick Hart Show, presented by the Gibson Southern Football Boosters, starts now on 89.1 The Bash.
Welcome to the Nick Hart Show. I am Bob Bowser, and joining me is head coach of the Gibson Southern Titans, Nick Hart. And coach, your Titans are now 4-2 overall and 3-1 in Pocket Athletic Conference play after a loss to Heritage Hills on Friday night, 31-7. So let's take a look at the team and individual stats from the loss the other night on homecoming. Starting off here with a total number of plays. This is one that I don't normally talk about, but your Titans actually ended up with more offensive plays in the game than Heritage Hills, 62-54.
Yeah, I thought we moved the ball pretty well against a really good defense, and we're able to put some drives together. Unfortunately, we didn't finish those drives, but that part was good. That I thought we were able to kind of move the football pretty well against a very, very good defense.
Well, looking at the total offensive output, Heritage Hills had 336 yards, while your Titans amassed 308 yards. Rushing yardage, 319 for Heritage Hills, 116 for the Titans. As far as passing yardage, of course, Heritage Hills only threw the ball twice, completed one for 17 yards, while your Titans had 192 yards of passing. Now, here's the biggie, though, turnovers. 1 for Heritage Hills and 3 for Gibson Southern. And at least 2 of those were situations with fumbles where the offense was moving the ball, it was in a rhythm, and after a big play, the ball come loose.
Yeah, I think, and then if you add in the punt snap, that doesn't technically count. I mean, it's a turnover on downs, but I don't think in our stat thing it goes down as a turnover. Well, that's 4, and I believe I've slept since then a little bit, but I believe that if you look at it, 24 of their 31 points came off of our turnovers. So they scored off of each one of those turnovers. And obviously it kept us out of the end zone a couple times. So, we put our defense in some bad spots. They had a short field on the punt snap. They had a short field on the interception. They got the ball at like midfield on one of the fumbles. So, we put our defense in some bad spots on some short fields there. And then obviously it kept us from scoring. So, I think when you look at the stats, I'm not a big stats guy, but when you look at the stats and the number of plays and the number of yards and everything's pretty even, except for the turnovers. That was a big difference in the ball game. And then I thought, defensively, a big issue, because offense, you can obviously see what some of the issue was. Defensively, I thought one of the issues was we were really bad on first down. And when you're playing on offense like that, you got to win first down. And if you can put them in 2nd and 9, 2nd and 10, they're up against it a little bit, but they always seem to be in 2nd and 3 and 2nd and 4. Then it's really, really hard to get off the field against a great rushing attack like that. So, we needed to do a much better job on first down and knock them off schedule a little bit. And unfortunately, we didn't do that as consistently as we would have liked.
All right, so let's move on here to some of the individual stats. Brady Allen on the night was 15 for 29, 192 yards. He did have a touchdown and an interception. Rushing stats, welcome back Mitchell Spindler, had 20 carries for 127 yards. Ben Butler had 6 carries for 31 yards. Brady Allen, we're not going to count in here the sack yardage, loss of yardage here. He had 6 carries for a negative 17 yards. Then on the receiving stats, Ben Butler had 4 receptions for 82 yards and a touchdown. Dawson Witt had 8 receptions for 75 yards. Adam May had 2 receptions for 23. And Carter Green got his first catch for 12 yards. So Carter Green is a young man that's come in the last 2 weeks and made himself quite noticeable on the offensive side.
Yeah, he's done a good job. He's playing the fullback, if you want to call it that, and our 2018 version of the I. He out of the pistol. He's our fullback, and he's done a nice job blocking and did a good job on the bootleg too, getting out in the flats and getting the catch. But I think when you look at our offense, there were some bright spots. We got to do a better job taking care of the football. We got to finish drives in the red zone. There's one. We get back-to-back holding calls and get knocked way out of field goal range. We just got to do a better job of finishing and overall execution. But I did think our offensive line played very, very well. We ran the ball, I thought, very well until we got down too much, and then had to abandon it a little bit and start throwing it around more. But I thought our offensive line played very well.
All right, let's take a look at some of the defensive stats from this past Friday night. McCray Robinson had 7 solo tackles to lead the way in that category. Garrett Martin, welcome back to the lineup. He was in on 11 tackles, 6 solo, 5 assists. Colton Stefanich was in on 10 tackles, 6 solo, 4 assists. Max Beatles was in on 7 tackles. He had 5 solo and 2 assists. Bo Lamy was in on 6 tackles, 4 solo, and 2 assists. And also should mention Ashby Henning got the big fumble recovery, and that was a big play at the time for the Titans defense.
Yeah, it was. Unfortunately, we weren't able to turn that into points on a short field. But, there was some bright spots on the defense. I thought we got, and it's a little bit of the same, put me on repeat from the Henderson County game. Defensively, I thought on a lot of plays we had like 9 guys doing a great job, and we had 2 not playing their assignment very well, and that hurt us, especially against. It's always going to hurt you, but against an option offense, it just takes one guy not being on his responsibility, a la the first play of the game. When we didn't reduce on the fullback, we got to do a better job at being more consistent with all 11 guys. Doing their job, understanding what their responsibility is, and executing it.
All right, well, with that, let's take a quick break here, and when we come back, we'll get your overall thoughts from Game 6 concerning all 3 phases, offense, defense, and special teams. But right now, we need to thank the folks that make the Nick Hart Show possible on 89.1 The Bash.
The Nick Hart Show is brought to you by Ignite Heating and Air, Hilliard Lyons, Snap-on Tools Grant Bridens, Gerald and Trudy Bledsoe, Foster Construction, Fort Branch Dairy Queen, Emerson Cattle Company, Elite Insulation, Duke Energy, Du Bois County Garage Doors Incorporated, Daylight Land Management, Cox Family Eye Care PC, Chips, SellMyTees.com, Best One Tire, AgriGold, and by A&B Contracting, LLC. You love sports. You're your team's ultimate fan. Why not turn that passion into the ultimate career? Enroll now in the brand new Sports Marketing and Media program at Wabash Valley College. Learn how to use digital video and other media to add to the fan experience, how to engage fans on social media, and how to create excitement by hosting events and promotions. Get off the sidelines and into the game. Find out more about the WVC Sports Marketing and Media program online at www.iecc.edu or by phone at 618-262-8641. Fall classes begin August 18th.
Thank you for listening to 89.1 The Bash and the Nick Hart Show. All right, Coach, let's start with your thoughts. First off, from the offense, and I'm going to preface this with the fact that I'm certain we could sit here and talk all day long about the shortcomings in all three phases of the game, because it wasn't just one side of things. It wasn't just the offense. It wasn't just the defense. Special teams was included in there as well on Friday night that just didn't quite play that A-level type of game. So let's start with the offense, and let's find some things that, that the Titans did really well.
Offensive line play, I thought was very good. I think we ran the ball really well. I thought we pass protected pretty well. They got to us a couple times, but it was a little bit more coverage sacks than us giving up. A great pass rush. They did a great job in the back half of their defense. So I was really, really pleased with our offensive line play. I thought Mitch ran the ball really well whenever he did, but we have to do a better job of being consistent on offense. And I think one of our coaches, I can't remember who, said it best. Right now we're not good enough offensively, and we have been the past few years. Right now we're not good enough offensively to overcome that one bad play. Last year, if we would have missed a run block or something and we get in 2nd and 11, we were able to overcome that and make a big play on 2nd down. Right now, if we have one bad play, it seems like it just kills our drive. So and when you and it's not necessarily a bad play, they can make plays too. And their defense did make plays. Sometimes, when you have that one play that kind of knocks you off schedule, we've got to do a better job of getting back on schedule. And if we get stuffed and it's 2nd and 10, finding a way to get 6 on the next one and get you into a manageable 3rd down and 3rd and 4. So that's one place where we have to really improve, I think, moving forward.
Well, and with the offense too, it's so much about rhythm, especially with your up-tempo offense. If you can keep that rhythm going, and you could see it a lot in the game Friday night, is here we go. Mitchell Spindler, bam, bam, bam. He's running it 4 straight times over the right guard / right tackle, picking the right holes to go through and just hitting it hard. And then all of a sudden, Dawson Witt is catching balls. Ben Butler's catching the ball. Adam May's catching the ball. These guys are getting involved in the offense, and the rhythm. When you have things that happen, such as the fumbles or the interception, that just messes up the rhythm. It messes up the karma of the offense.
Yeah, it really does. And then I think to add to your point, even not talking fumbles and stuff, when you play good teams and they attacked us in different ways, but looking at the 2 games we struggled offensively with Henderson County and Heritage Hills, when we've been good on 1st down, we've put together drives and gotten that rhythm you're talking about. Whether we miss somebody or somebody makes a play and we get in 2nd and 11, Henderson County, they brought heat. Heritage Hills they emptied the box a little bit and played some cover 2 and some 2-man against us to help with their pass defense. When we stayed on schedule, we got those a lot of the same looks from both of those teams, and you're able to attack a little bit better. When you get off schedule, then they can, they know you got to throw, and we're not throwing when we want to throw, we're throwing when we have to throw, and then they're able to tee off on you either by, getting to 2 high safeties or bringing heat like Henderson County did. So, I think I always talk a lot about 3rd downs, but I think 1st downs are an issue for us this year as far as you're talking about the rhythm. Being on schedule, being 2nd and 5, and being on schedule as opposed to being 2nd and 9, 2nd and 10. So we got to do a lot better job on 1st down to get on schedule to stay on the rhythm that you're talking about.
Well, and then now let's go over to the defensive side, because the ball club you were playing Friday night with Heritage Hills, and you've mentioned Henderson County, 2 outstanding ball clubs. I mean, two ball clubs that'll come at you and they're going to hit you. They're going to punch you right in the mouth and see how you can handle it. And I would say Friday night you handled it, but or the kids handled it, but overall they weren't able to finish their drives. But on defensive side, boy, I tell you, that just really probably took a little air out of the sail on that first play of the ball game. They go something like 65 yards, but then the defense picked themselves back up with their backs against the wall.
Yeah, they did a great job of bowing their neck down there inside the 5 and getting a stop, overcoming that big first play. And, I think what we got to do a better job of, again, first down, especially when you're playing a team like Heritage Hills, you got to be better on first down. But one thing I noticed on film is, we get down 17-0, we hit the big pass play to make it 17-7. Our energy on defense really picked up on that next drive. I mean, if you remember, we called some timeouts. We got to stop and force them to punt it again. But that energy needs to be consistent throughout the game, no matter if the offense is scoring or not scoring. So it was good to see that it was there, but it's concerning that it took, our offense hitting a big play for that energy to come out. And we did, in fairness to our defense, we had a lot of that on that first drive after the big run. I thought we kind of rallied and, got behind it a little bit. But Heritage Hills is very good on offense. That offense is very difficult to defend. That's why, Army can go to Oklahoma and play them into an overtime game. It's very difficult to defend. But we made too many mistakes, and we knew they were going to make plays. That's what good teams do.
Well, they got good athletes.
Absolutely. Good athletes, good scheme. They're well coached. They're going to make their own plays. We did too bad of a job of helping them make plays with not paying attention to detail with what our responsibilities were and stuff. And we can't help people make good plays because they're going to make their own, So, the play that sticks out in my mind, we have they run midline. Our 3 technique comes down and Smokes the running back, does his job. Kid breaks a tackle and picks up like 6 or 7. That was them making a play. We did our responsibility. Okay, they just made a better play than what we did. That's going to happen. What can't happen is when we like the first play of the game, when we don't reduce on the fullback and we help them make a big play. We've got to do a lot better job of that because we've done that through some games, but teams haven't been good enough to exploit it. Now you run up against a good team and they exploit it and make you pay for it. So we got to continue. I think consistency for offense and defense is a big deal right now, and that kind of goes back to details, and that goes back to practice, and ultimately comes back to me. And we're going to do a lot better job of that moving forward.
Well, I like the word that you use there of consistency. And that could be something regardless of the phase of the game. And, we're talking to 3 phases right now. With a young ball club, finding that consistency. And I know you're saying yourself as a coach sitting there and there's fans sitting there saying, they're not a young ball club anymore. They've already played six ball games. Hey, you know what? They're still young in their experiences. And They've gone up now against a couple of pretty good ball clubs. I'd say three in a row here with Princeton mixed there in the middle. They're still young, inexperienced, and you're going to get some of that when it comes to consistency.
Yeah, you are. But as you said, it's time.
That doesn't make it better.
Yeah, it doesn't make it better, and it doesn't help you sleep. I think we, and I say we as coaches and players, can do a lot better job Monday through Thursday. I think that's where we got to get a lot better because I think we're making a lot of these mistakes on Tuesday and Wednesday, which are our 2 really big practice days. And the way we're practicing is carrying over to Friday nights. And so that part's definitely going to be fixed. Or we're going to find guys that are going to practice the way we want to practice. And that part's going to get fixed. And I'm not... mistakes are going to happen. But again, we need them to be more physical mistakes than we're making way too many mental mistakes right now. Because physical mistakes, that's part of the game. Like you're going to drop a ball. You're going to, you're going to fumble when somebody puts a good hit on you.
You'll miss a tackle.
You'll miss a tackle. But we're making too many, like our ball security led to fumbles the other night. The way we were carrying the football. defensively, we blew a lot of assignments. Those are all mental things. And so that's the part where I think we've got to get a lot better is those are things we can all control. And we're doing a bad job of controlling the things we can control.
All right, Coach. Well, right now we need to thank some of the supporters of the Nick Hart Show. So when we come back, we'll take a look around the Pocket Athletic Conference to wrap up Week 6 and get prepared for Week 7 as you are listening to the Nick Hart Show on 89.1 The Bash.
The Nick Hart Show is brought to you by South Gibson Grain, Scotty's Lawn Equipment, Sandy's Pizza, Rogers Bit Service LLC, Right to Bear Arms, Reinbrecht Homes, Progressive Health Rehabilitation and Orthopedic Associates, Pro Rehab, Princeton Auto Park, Pegram Concrete LLC, MyTech Systems, in loving memory of Zach Bailey, in memory of Darwin and Eric Callis, L&R Off-Road of Owensville, Kissel Farms Incorporated, and by Julia's School of Dance. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. The list of social media platforms continues to grow, and so too does the value of social media to businesses. The new Social Media Management Certificate program at Wabash Valley College prepares you for a career in social media or teaches you how to effectively use social media to grow your own business. From advertising and promotion to public relations and marketing, this certificate program teaches you the ins and outs of successful social media strategy. For more information, visit www.iecc.edu or call 618-262-8641 today.
Welcome back to the Nick Hart Show on 89.1 The Bash. I am Bob Bowser, and joining me as head coach of the Titans, Nick Hart. So, Coach, let's take a look at the Pocket Athletic Conference from week number 6, in which it was an all-conference affair. Of course, we already talked about the Heritage Hills defeating your Titans 31-7. North Posey, in a heck of a ball game, beats Forest Park 24-21.
Yeah, it sounds like that was a great ball game. We've already played both of those teams. Forest Park's really starting to play better here in the middle part of the season. They got a win against Pike Central. Played North Posey really tough. Coach Fuse is credit to him and those kids with a rough start. They've really got it turned around and are starting to play a lot better.
Well, and then how about a big win for South Spencer as they defeated Pike Central 52-13?
Yeah, they looked really good. We obviously saw that tape, getting ready for Pike Central. They looked really good, executed on offense very, very well. And again, I think when you kind of look at them, with a new coach, Coach Edge, they're really kind of starting to play better football here in the middle part of the season.
Well, and then the final game on last Friday night, Southridge defeats Tell City 31-18, and that final score really isn't indicative of how close this ball game was. It was a tight game up until, I think, mid to late second half.
I think Tell City, they run, we saw them on film, I think getting ready for Heritage Hills. They're running a flexbone, wishbone attack where they can shorten the game. Really they played Heritage Hills, I think it was 14-0 at the half, and then Heritage Hills kind of, put them away in the second half. So they're very much improved with what they're doing there, playing Southridge tough. It's a lot of credit to that new coaching staff and those kids. They've bought into what they're selling and playing some good football.
All right, so looking at the standings now, Heritage Hills is at the top. They're 6-0 overall. Southridge is 5-1. Your Titans are 4-2. North Posey is 2-4 overall. Tell City is also 2-4. Forest Park is 1-5. Pike Central is 1-5, as is South Spencer at 1-5. So every team in the conference not only has a win overall, but a win in the conference play.
Yeah, I think a lot of teams are getting better too as we hit the middle part of the season. That's great to see.
Now looking at next Friday night, September 28th, Forest Park at South Spencer. That'll be a 6:30 p.m. start time for that ball game. So, looking at that, Forest Park's playing much better. South Spencer's obviously playing much better. That could be another heck of a ball game there.
I think it will be. You got two teams really improving after rough starts and, having some confidence with the way that they're playing, too. I think that'll be a great game.
Well, and then Heritage Hills is at Southridge, a 6:30 p.m. ball game. both teams are, undefeated in conference play at 4-0. Somebody's got to come out a loser in this ball game. I think that's going to be a dandy.
Yeah, it should be. Two great programs, very well coached. Should be a great game.
And then Tell City is at North Posey. Again, here's another ball game that could be an outstanding four-quarter type game.
Yeah, I think so, especially with the way Tell City, just played Southridge. Should be a great game.
And then, of course, there's the final game. Pike Central will be at Gibson Southern, but we're going to talk about that here right after the break, as we would like to take one more segment. You've got time for one more segment, right?
Yep.
All right, so which means it's time to get the listeners ready for Friday night as your team prepares to get back in the win column against Pike Central. But first, let's thank some of the underwriters of the Nick Hart Show on 89.1 The Bash.
The Nick Hart Show is brought to you by Sin Energy Partners, LLC, trapping and removal of animal pests, 10 Barge Seed, TYFL, Vertical Tile Incorporated, Hobb Range Hood Company, Ziliak Enterprises, Beatles Towing, First Bank of Princeton, Johnson Commercial Mowing, Make Your Mark, Mayflower Gardens and Gifts, Martin's Auto Service, Kathy Solman Photography, Scheller's Carriage Inn, and by United Fidelity Bank. The Diesel Equipment Technology program at Wabash Valley College will train students to become successful diesel equipment technicians. Students will spend equal time in the lab and classroom while learning theory and operation of diesel equipment. Students will also complete an internship during their 2-year degree program. For more information about the Diesel Equipment Technology program, call WVC today at 618-262-8641 or visit www.iecc.edu/WVC.
Welcome back to the Nick Hart Show right here on 89.1 The Bash, or you may be using the free app to access the show on your cell phone. So, Coach, Week 7, your Titans will be taking on Pike Central, and we will have all the action live on 89.1 The Bash with pregame at 6:15 p.m., game time slated for 6:30 p.m. Pike Central will enter this contest with a record of 1-5 overall, 1-3 in conference play. What do you expect to see from the Chargers on offense?
Well, I think one thing about them is they have a new coaching staff, and they're doing a heck of a job. They're very sound offensively and defensively, really do a good job. Offensively, they're running spread stuff, doubles, trips, a lot of stuff with the tight end, on the line tight end, wing tight end, inside zone, power, quarterback counter, trap, all the stuff that you would expect to see out of a spread team. Quarterback is a big boy. He's like I think he's listed at 6 foot 245. Big boy, breaks a lot of tackles. So we got to do a good job of when he runs the football, not only getting to him but getting several guys there to make sure that we secure the tackle. But it's kind of a challenge for us. You just played a flexbone, wishbone team. Now you get spread back out. And I think that's kind of one of the unique things about our conference. When you look at, more of the city urban conferences, you're seeing a lot of spread and stuff, and, maybe a wing tee or something sprinkled in. But in our conference, from week to week, you go from no wide receivers to 4 of them. And it can really kind of be a challenge kind of going back and forth. So it'll be good for us to get that challenge this week. And, they do a good job on offense.
So what do you see from them on the defensive side trying to slow down your ball club?
Well, on film, and thanks to Coach Edge for joining the conference, because it gives us another spread team to see how teams are going to play the spread in the conference. But 4-man front, 4-3, cover 4 quarters across the board. Very sound in what they do. Not a lot of blitzing or anything, but they do what they do. And their kids understand it. They're trying to keep everybody in front of them, with that cover 4, make you drive the football, which will be a good test for us because we have not done that well at times.
Consistency.
I think, again, they're well coached on that side of the ball.
All right, let's go to their special teams. What have you seen on film out of their kicker and punter and the return games?
Again, solid. I think he's made most of his extra points. One field goal I recall on film. So really solid. On kickoffs, they kind of mix in kicking it deep and some squibs and stuff like that. So, we've got to be ready for that. Got to be ready up front, in case they want to try an onside and steal a possession and stuff. And they do a good job in the punting game. Their return game's good too. So, just really solid in everything they do special teams wise.
All right. So, Coach, anything else you would like to add to this week's show?
No, we're excited to have a great week of practice, first and foremost, and then, get back out there on Friday night and get this taste out of our mouth.
All right. Well, Coach, thanks for joining us here on 89.1 The Bash, as that's all the time that we have for today's show. So good luck on Friday night, and we'll see you at the post-game show, and best of luck to the players. We would like to thank all of you for joining us here on 89.1 The Bash for the Nick Hart Show, and be sure to catch us each week at 7 p.m. on Tuesday night for your look inside Gibson Southern Titans football. Before we sign off, though, we would like to thank all of the supporters of the Nick Hart Show on 89.1 The Bash.
The Nick Hart Show is a special sports presentation of 89.1 The Bash, made possible by the Gibson Southern Football Boosters and these sponsors: Ziliak Enterprises, Hobb Range Hood Company, Vertical Tile Incorporated, TYFL, 10 Barge Steve, Trapping and Removal of Animal Pest, Sin Energy Partners LLC, South Gibson Grain, Scotty's Lawn Equipment, Sandy's Pizza, Rogers Bit Service LLC, Right to Bear Arms, Reinbrecht Homes, Progressive Health Rehabilitation and Orthopedic Associates, Pro Rehab, Princeton Auto Park, Pegram Concrete LLC, MyTech Systems, L&R Off-Road of Owensville, Kissel Farms Incorporated, Julia's School of Dance, in memory of Darwin and Eric Callis, in loving memory of Zach Bailey, Ignite Heating and Air, Hilliard Lyons, Snap-on Tools, Grant Rydens, Gerald and Trudy Bledsoe, Foster Construction, Fort Branch Dairy Queen, Emerson Cattle Company, Elite Insulation, Duke Energy, Du Bois County Garage Doors Incorporated, Daylight Land Management, Cox Family Eye Care PC, Chips, SellMyTrees.com, Best One Tire, Agrigold, A&B Contracting LLC, United Fidelity Bank, Scheller's Carriage Inn, Kathy Solomon Photography, Martin's Auto Service, Mayflower Gardens and Gifts, Make Your Mark, Johnson Commercial Mowing, First Bank of Princeton, Beatles Towing, and by Wabash Valley College. The Gibson Southern Titans play here all season long on 89.1 The Bash.